Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and today it's time for another episode of my Eyeshadows of Shame series, and I actually had the most fun so far I think with this round. My Eyeshadows of Shame series I'll have linked up there, but before I get started, it is not an actual shaming video. It's just a playful way to kind of poke fun at myself and the whole stack of eyeshadow palettes that I either have never used, have only used once, or have not used enough times to remember using. So this is just a fun little project to push my creativity and explore some palettes that I have had sitting on my shelves for quite some time and not really gotten much or any use out of. So that said, I'm going to get started with this one. This round I used my Shroud Cosmetics Creepy Cute eyeshadow palette, which looks like this. It is a beautiful pastel palette with this lovely gray and black in here. It is all matte and it's just the perfect pastels for any time of year, but especially summer. I really loved all of the looks that I created with this, and I'm so excited to share them with you. The first look I did is featured in my first introductory video for this, where I recap Arcana and spin this palette. And it was an all single shade. I just used Take a Hint all over, and I added a nice black wing, and the one color by itself was very impactful, very fun, and I know that any shadow in this palette would look just as good with that technique. I did not do that with any of these. I did use a couple of them more than once because I just loved the effect, but I made them different. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So the second look that I created was one of the most fun looks that I did. I did a kind of a twist on a smoky eye with some pastel. You'll see it. So I used an eyeliner as an eyeshadow base, a cream gel pot eyeliner as a base, and then I packed the black void all over the lid, smoked it out with some of that lilac purple planchette in the crease, and then used Take a Hint on the under eye line there. And I just went back and forth layering the planchette and blended out that void. It took quite a while to do, but the end result was so worth it, and I really loved this look a lot. I think it's one of the favorite looks that I've done in a while. You'll have to let me know what you think down below. But let's get to the next one. The next one I tried to do the viral tissue paper trend going around that I know I'm so late to, but I wanted to give it a try. I thought this would be the perfect time to get those watercolor effects with this palette. I used Cold Shoulder, Creep It Real, Take a Hint, and a little bit of Tombstone on the under eye there to just kind of get that blotted look. And this was really fun. It was super fast to do, and the results were really cool. I really liked it, and I felt that this was the perfect palette to do that with. The fourth look that I did was just something really easy. Quick, 2 shadows and done. I used Strawberry Milk and Third Eye and a little bit of brown eyeliner to create just the subtle, soft, pastel, kind of a neutral look, and I really enjoyed this one as well. And the last look I did, I also used Strawberry Milk and Third Eye, but I was wearing a really floral dress with butterflies on it, you'll see. And I wanted to kind of mimic some of the flowers and the greens in the dress. So I used Strawberry Milk and Take a Hint on the lid, and then on the under eye, I pulled in some of that green with a NYX Green Esmeralda eyeliner, and then blended under the under eye with that green Take a Hint, and I really enjoyed the effects of this. So all of these looks I really loved creating, and I loved playing with this palette. I really felt inspired, and even though this one took me a lot longer to finish this month, I really liked it. I like this palette a lot. This is one of the best pastel palettes that I have, and I only have a few, so I mean, they're all the best to me so far. But I really enjoy this palette if you can get your hands on it. Mine says Shroud Cosmetics, but it is by Shroud Cosmetics. I'm not sure if it's in stock or if it's still just the singles available, but I really recommend this palette if you can get it. It is wonderful. The pans are pretty big, so they're gonna last quite some time. It doesn't look like I've used a whole lot except for where the tissue paper kind of dug into Creep It Real and Cold Shoulder, and I packed on Void on my lid for that second look, and it barely looks touched. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it barely looks like I put my brush in there at all. This palette is so heavily pigmented, and I really enjoyed everything that I created with this, and I'm glad I have this in my collection. So now that I've been through all three of the Shroud palettes that I have, I would say that this one is my favorite. I really liked the color stories on the other ones, but for some reason this one just really had me drawn in and the most inspired, and I had the most fun creating with this palette out of all three of them. So I'm excited to put this back on my stack and spin for the next palette. Let me pull up my Decide Now app here. Here we have it, and let me see if I can focus. There we go. So let's spin this wheel and see what we get. All right, this is my Urban Decay by Kristen Leanne palette. Let me grab that on my shelf and we'll be right back to do a look. Went ahead and primed my eyes, picked up a few brushes, and here's the palette. So this one is actually called Kaleidoscope Dream and was released in 2018, I think, according to a quick Google. This collection also had a small 5 or 6 pan called Daydream something. I don't know. Either way, it was more of a neutral leaning palette, but I did not know who Kristen Leanne was at the time. I just knew that I had to have this color story from, at the time, my favorite brand. And if you're not familiar, it looks like this. And as you can see, I haven't even taken the film off of the mirror yet, but I can't flip it all the way back. But this is the palette. Let me pull this in just a little bit closer. And all of these colors are just so gorgeous. This is kind of a purple pink duochrome. And this one here, this split pan, is a multi-chrome. Each one is a multi-chrome. And I just think these are brilliant colors. And I swatched a few of them. They still swatch like a dream. Let me show you this blue. I don't know what any of these things mean, but let me just show you real quick. So look at how beautiful these are. That purple is quite lackluster, and I don't know if it's because it's dried out some. It is definitely not the typical purple quality that I'm used to. These three are so smooth. That purple one is a dry disappointment right there. So I don't think I'm going to use that purple today because it will require a little bit of finesse, I'm sure. But I think because, I think since Urban Decay just released their new Naked Cyberpunk palette and the sheer multi-chrome is kind of the thing right now, I do want to play with that center split pan, Leo and Brixton, and do something with that. I don't want to go overboard today. I'm not in the mood for anything big and over the top, but I would like to play with these duochromes here. So I think what I'll do is I'll take this one here. I think it's called LCW, and then I'll try to do some of Brixton on the lid. So I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and I'll turn this way, and it's not wanting to pick up a whole lot on the fluffy brush, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll do this way, and I'm trying to look in a mirror that I haven't taken the film off of yet, so it's a day. All right, so I have never used this palette. I've only swatched it a couple of times, and ooh, I didn't think that picked up a whole lot of pigment, but that surely picked up more than I thought it was gonna. Whoopsie. Ooh, that's feeling kind of villainous right there. That was a little bit more than a sheer bit than I thought it was going to be. Whoops. That's okay. I'm just going to take the leftover and see what I can do over here. Oh yeah, there's nothing now. Whoops. All right. So let me find my neutralizing shade here. This palette is all bright colors except for those two sheer like topper duochrome shades, multi-chrome shades. It's got two mattes, Tahin and 13th Floor, and the rest of these are all of those satin shades, which isn't bad. It just is a little bit different. Totally not something that would be for every day, but not unworkable and unusable. I think that's as good as it's going to get for now. Went ahead and swatched Leo and Brixton. Leo is the teal on top and Brixton is this one here. It has kind of, yeah, okay. So this Brixton has kind of I'm trying to get it to show up, but it's not wanting to. This has a multi-chrome there. You can sort of see it's got a pink and a white and a little bit of this green. And this one has a green and a like kind of a blue, but also just like the slightest bit of pink. Like one, it's almost like they're both the same, but the amounts of the pigments are just flipped, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. But either way, I think I'm going to go ahead and use Leo for my lid and try to get this as even as possible. But it's just not wanting to participate today. That's okay. This is just to kind of try this out. So let's see how it looks on the lid, how it looks. I'm just going to use my, I should probably use a brush. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm going to use this brush. It's just a small flat brush. I'm just going to pick up some because I don't want to do too much. Whew. And let's see how this works. Well, that's really pretty. I cannot see in the view screen what you see, but in my hand, in my mirror, it looks really pretty. It's shimmery, it is laying over that blue really nicely and blending out beautifully. It's not too much. It is really pretty. To do that, I'll just go ahead and do this one on camera too. And I'm taking this all the way to the inner corner and up, and it's providing just enough color on the lid to look like it's supposed to be there on purpose, but it's also layering over top of, what is that, LCW. It's laying over top of it pretty nicely and giving it a nice shift, but also blending out nicely as well. It's kind of sheer, but it's just enough in person to look like it's supposed to be there. Kind of subtle, but kind of not also. And I really think that's going to be it. I think I'm going to add a wing and some mascara and consider my under eye lashes. I think I'll probably do that darker blue underneath. Let's see after I put on some eyeliner. Apparently we aren't doing subtle today. So I went ahead and grabbed my Urban Decay eyeliner in Accuse, which just happens to match the exact shade of TRM, and this is what it looks like. But again, just very little product on the brush and smoking it out. I did go ahead and decide to do a wing, but again, we don't judge wings here. And I think that's going to be it. I just need some mascara and it's done. And I really like this. Kind of like that heavier lower line. Not my best work, but I don't hate it as usual. So yeah, let me clean this up just a little bit, put on some mascara. This will be the finished look and we will wrap this up. Here's the finished look. I actually like it. I think the mascara kind of pulls everything together. I like how the blue makes my eyes look more green. So much for that sheer wash of color I was aiming for, but that's okay. I like, you can see some of that green and white shift there over top of my eyelid and also over top of that light blue, which I can't remember the name of anymore. And that's it for me today. I'm really excited to play with this again. I know this purple is gonna take some work, but everything else is really nice. Again, this Stay Gold color here, I don't wear a whole lot of gold eyeshadows. Same with this copper shade down here called Corona. Not big fans of those shades, but since we are in September and headed into the fall, I think this would be a really great transition palette while it still feels like summer outside, but I'm trying to get into that fall mindset. And I mean, golds and coppers look good with my eye color too. So I think I can create some really pretty looks with this. Let me know if you have or had this palette down in the comments below. I'm really excited to see if anyone even remembers this, because it's been sitting on my shelf for literally, what is it, 3 years now? So it's time. And yeah, I look forward to using this. Thank you so much for joining me today, for spending some of your very valuable time with me. I truly appreciate it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed my recaps, if you enjoy this look, if you enjoy this concept. It really means a lot to me for you to click that little button for me. Also, don't forget to click the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. And until that time, take care.